So I thought I'd take you along on my journey because we're finally getting somewhere after 3 years of termite damage. It's been bad, y'all. So this will be a lesson, and yeah, there's my finger. This will be a lesson in why it's important to have a termite bond. And so when you buy a house, you are given papers at closing. In most states it's required that I know of. In Georgia anyway. You're given papers that the house has been inspected, treated for termites, and everything is good. You get a letter. And that's generally the responsibility of the seller to bring that to closing. So what we do is whoever certified that the house was good, we contract with them when we buy the house to keep a termite bond on the house. And this is why you need to do this. But it was still agonizing 3 years to get everything kind of settled. So I'll turn you around and get my finger out of the way, hopefully. And here's a tour. So this was taken out, and you can see a little bit of damage up there, but it's still good. It's still good wood. And then we come around here, and this is my electrical box. So we had stuff here. Now this has already been repaired. This just got repaired today. So they tied in there, and then they also had to fix around there. And then they put in these 2x4s that got ripped out, and the joist up at the ceiling, that was all eaten away. So that is now supported up in the attic. But you can see there, they even teared away the paper on the drywall on here. So, and this back here was an add-on to the house, but it's my bedroom. So all of this was damaged all around here. And we'll go on in here. This was all damaged. All of this whole area was damaged. And this area in my bathroom was damaged. This right here. And, sorry, speeding you around too fast. I apologize. And this is my bedroom, and this whole wall was damaged, and that whole windowsill. So what happened was, first thing I noticed was over on this wall, I had a painting hanging and bubble wrap. I'm distracted now. So, yeah, I had a painting hanging here, and it was a paper original. It was a painting I got in St. Lucia. And it was here, and I saw what looked to be an ant crawling around it. And I pulled it off, and there were a bunch of holes. So I called them. They came over, treated outside, all that good stuff. And then I get a yearly inspection with that termite bond. So they came over for the yearly, and I didn't notice it myself. But they found, because I keep my meat, and we keep beer and I keep all my Asian spices and stuff in here. And I've got mushrooms in there. Spores. I put those in here. Oh, those have gone bad, but yeah. So we normally don't even turn this light on. And I had storage here, shelves with storage of stuff I need to sell from when I was an antique dealer. And we don't turn on the light or come in here. So when he came to inspect, he turns the light on and there were holes, little holes, all around this door. And I had told him before that I'd seen like termites at the front of the house too. But, you know, it's typical to see termites spreading in the south. So anyway, long story short, it's already too long. I kind of just told them, like, you need to find out what's going on here, how much damage is going on at this point. Since this was, when we moved in, there was termite damage here already, but I thought they had taken care of that since they did the certification. And the other inspections, you know, like I said, they saw this in here where I first saw the damage and they treated all around. And then once we saw this, it was like, okay, we need to figure out what's going on here because that damage was pretty bad. So once they started, so they said, well, we don't want to contact the insurance company because, you know, if it's a small claim, and I get that, you know, people don't want to file a claim if they don't have to because it can make everybody's rates go up. So this has turned into a storage mess for 3 years too. So I said, okay. So he contacted, first thing they did, they called me and they said they'd have this contractor come into the house. And I was like, well, give me all of his information. And they did. And I got the company name and his personal name. And I looked him up on state of Georgia website, business license and GC license. And he wasn't even licensed. He didn't even have a business license at that point. He had a license at some point, but it wasn't for very long and it had expired. So they were trying to send someone to my house that didn't even have a business license. And no GC experience. So anyway, he ended up sending somebody else over who was kind of notorious for doing termite damage repair. And they started tearing my house apart. So they got this far that I've shown you, basically except for the new work that was done today to support that other hallway down there. So yeah, they got this far. And then they said, well, we've spent $30,000 on repair so far. And he doesn't want to spend over $30,000 cash. So we're done here. And I was like, okay. And this is how they left my house. Like, with stuff. Like, this is how we've been living for 3 years. Anyway, so once they hit that point, then we had to deal with their insurance company, who, when I looked them up, this is a lesson too, find out who the bond is from and check out their reputation on Better Business Bureau and all of that stuff. So I found out who this company is, and it turns out they specialize in insuring security guards. Like if you have a business, it's security guard business and they're liable for something, that's your insurance company. I did not see anything about termites at the time. So they were out in New York, and they were very scammy, I will say, because it was like every 3 weeks we would negotiate so far. I mean, they sent out an engineering crew and, third party engineer and estimator to look at the structure and stuff that had been done. But the other thing they don't do discovery. So they would not look at any other areas of my house to see if I had termites. So they sent that crew out, and then COVID hit. So I think this started in April before COVID, or this job. I can't remember. April, May, June. Started in March or April. This work did. And then we found out. And then in June, we get an estimate from the insurance company for the pest control company. And they said, they gave us an estimate, and I looked at everything, and number one, COVID had hit. So supplies were gone. Supplies, shot through the roof. The price on stuff shot through the roof quickly. And I looked at the estimate, and the estimator they were using was from April. And here it was, sorry about the finger. And here it was June already. So in 2 months, things had gone skyrocketed and things were scarce. So I'm like, you got to give me a new estimate and I have a lot of other questions. So they were supposed to get back with us. Next thing you know, we didn't heard back from them for a while. So we tried contacting them. We find out, well, that agent's gone, that adjuster, whatever they are at this place that insures security people, find out he's no longer there. So they're going to try and get us a new adjuster. This happened like 4 times. or more. Actually, I think it was more than 4 times we went through this. And, they were wanting us to sign a release. Then there were some other damage that wasn't covered in the first time that, I don't know, they ended up sending an engineer or the estimator out again. He told me, he recommended to them that they redo the estimate. Because as I was saying, that things had changed, things were scarce, and the prices still haven't gone down to where they should be. They refused to do that. But they did tack on some extra money for the other damage we found. And so we agreed to the amount, finally, 3 years later, that they gave us for repairs to everything. So the contractor that I had damaged that window. It's going to cost me about $500 to get that replaced. And because they didn't take off they didn't foam around here either. And because they didn't want to take off my siding, they cut holes through my siding here. Oh, and this had been off with a gap for, it has a gap under there. We taped it up. They left and didn't do anything. But there's actually exposed wood when you take that tape off. But that's how we've been living for 3 years. And then I happened to find on Craigslist, because siding after so many years is hard to find and match. So I happened to find a guy on Craigslist that had some siding for free. So I went over there, and we just pulled it out the other day to see if it's a match. And I can't believe it is a match. So I got everything the guy had. He was so happy, and I was hopeful. So confirmed, we've got matching vinyl siding to get that replaced. So So in this window, I think this is some cheap aluminum. Yeah, so that's not good for this part of the house. But anyway, so we're finally on to repairs. And I'm so excited that I'll soon have my house back. But yeah, just a lesson. It's been a pain. It's worth the, nearly, I think it's like $350, $400 a year for your termite bond. But, research any contractors, the pest control company. This is another thing that happened. Okay. So then once the work was stopped and we started negotiating with the insurance company, that contractor thought that he was going to get paid out of whatever check was cut to us. He made that very clear to me. And I made it very clear to him that I did not hire him. He worked for the pest control company and he needed to go to them to get his money. So check out any contractors you have doing the work. Get the termite bond. It is worth it. Yes, it's been a hassle, but again, and the other thing I recommend. Now, I said check out who they have the bond with, but this is the thing. When you buy a house, it's already guaranteed at the sale that it's been inspected, everything is good, and this company is standing behind that when they do the work for the seller, and the seller brings that certification to closing. My recommendation is, though, stay with that pest control company. They're the ones that inspected it initially at closing. They're the ones that said everything is good. They're the ones that should be liable for any damage to come. And this way, too, they can't say, well, if you hire somebody else other than who certified it at closing, you could run the risk. I've found out this is just difficult. I'd rather have teeth pulled, and I've not had that done. I'd rather have a root canal. There you go. Than deal with this mess. It was so difficult. And I had even contacted a termite, the guy who did our closing, the attorney I hired to do our closing, referred me to an attorney for the termite deal here. And the guy was totally disinterested, and I gave him all of the documentation, and he wouldn't basically help me at all. So he's just like, well, stay on them. I'm like, gee, thanks. But, yeah, so that, like I said, that pest control company that certified everything, they should not give you any pushback if you were to find damage. And I imagine other companies do try and squeeze out of it by saying, oh, we're not the ones that certified it at the sale. You probably had this damage before. They could say anything because they're the ones that have to initiate the insurance claim with the insurance company. You can't do that on your own. So, I don't know. Just some tips from me. And if you have any tips or you've ever dealt with this, let me know. Just having spray around your house or whatever. We don't have any other pest control. We just have termite. But spraying around the perimeter doesn't always work. So, and if you're in the South, and I imagine in the North, but the South is known for termites, you should have a termite bond. Keep it. If you don't have one, get one. Because like I said, this is, tens of thousands of dollars of damage. And I am shocked. I'm really shocked. So anyway, hope y'all are doing well. Wish me luck in the coming days. I'll have have multiple subcontractors coming in. So hopefully it'll be a quick journey. I'm probably going to do little updates every day of where we are. And I know I'm going to pitch some money in out of pocket to do some other things. I'm going to repaint our bedroom. Oh, so get this. During all of this, this was already a mess. So then my water heater, which is here, I came out one day and the floors were slushing. And so this is the floor I've had. Because there was no sense putting flooring in when they would have to pull all of this up anyway. So I decided to not do double work, just live with this underlayment on here for now. So I'm going to pick something. I was told Pergo floors were great. They're terrible. They're terrible anyway. You cannot mop these without getting warping. So unless you have two people. So I run a fan, I mop, and then Chris mops behind me with a dry mop. And then we have to change that out frequently. But so yeah, I'm going to pay out of pocket to get my floors redone with something that is a little more water friendly to my dining room. I'm probably going to do that flooring all the way through this whole area, especially since I have a refrigerator here. I may put a freezer back here and yeah, get rid of all this stuff back here around these water areas. So but other than that, I am not that picky. I'm going to change some light fixtures, probably going to get some new window treatments, new bedding. The furniture we've had 25 years and it's vintage, mid-century modern. We're not changing that out, even though it's small. It worked in our old house that was a bungalow. So it looks so miniature here. But yeah, so I'll take you on the journey as everything gets fixed here. Y'all take care. And get that termite bond. If you don't have one now, get with a termite company. Have them put the bait stations around your house. And get your house insured that way. Because your homeowner's insurance, they do not cover that at all. I should have started my video like this because that's how I feel after 3 years of this. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you don't mind, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it.